My name is Charlotte Elise Westwood, but you can call me Charlie. I was raised in one of the 7 esteemed noble families of Azmarin. I will admit I lived quite the privileged life growing up the only child of Rylan Westwood and Giselle Montecroy, but my parents were diligent in expanding my experiences beyond our manor. Before the incursion, my days consisted of reading, writing, studying ancient languages, and socializing with the other noble families, all in the effort of becoming, as my family would say, an accomplished young woman who would be suitable for marriage. Yet, even with the pressure of being the last Westwood, I felt an undeniable calling elsewhere, a duty beyond that of an overqualified housewife. Through the years, I began to appreciate the beauty in all of the creatures with whom I shared the world. In an effort to honor the abundance of life around me, I took an oath of pacifism at a young age. Violence only begets violence, and I refused to take part in perpetuating that cycle. This oath came under test as my home was ravaged by other planar creatures, but I stand firm in my commitment to peace. Despite the terrors that any one individual is capable of, there is good to be found in every sentient life. It is a gift to see the potential in others, but it is an even greater gift to help them see it within themselves.
Hello, welcome to my library, humble though it may be. My name is Tyrion Cariadis, and I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. My story? Well, I was born here in Azmarin, in the Scholars' Village. My father was a learned man of the arcane before he passed, and I found myself inspired to learn all that I could to follow in his footsteps. Magic has always fascinated me, and I endeavoured myself, as I do in most things, to be my utmost best at it. I devoted myself to the Temple of Ioun and all the knowledge contained therein. When not sleeping or tending to my other duties, I was sure to be found within the temple's wondrous library. I'd held more pages than could ever be read in a given lifetime, but that was a challenge I was willing to take on. I was excelling in my studies, and the future seemed open with potential. I had hope, I had possibilities, I had a plan, I still remember the smoke and the heat of the inferno. The Scholars' Village burned. We didn't know it at the time, but a devilish incursion was taking over the city. We did all within our power to rescue what books and knowledge we could, but we lost more than we ever dreamed. The temple burned along with the library. It's all gone now. My mother died in the fire as well. Had I known, In my anger and pain, I looked for a new purpose, a new path. I wanted revenge. So I joined the fledgling rebellion. Myself and my party of revolutionaries struck back against the devils. We felt unstoppable, like we were making a real difference. But one day we fell into an ambush. I was the only one to survive. I had so much. I have little now. The one thing that I'm trying my best not to lose is hope, but every day makes that harder to hold on to.
Hello, hey, I'm down here. Hi, I'm Briar, and this is my clock tower. I usually don't let anyone up here, but I guess you can be allowed because I know you can keep a secret. I've been in Azmarin for a while now. I left home after my folks kicked me out. They said our family was too poor for me to stay home and be a deadweight good for nothing. Anyway, that doesn't matter because I can take care of myself. Things were hard when I first got here, but after a while I realized I am good for something after all, and that's being sneaky. And luckily I found a way to get paid for that through the Thieves Guild. I've done pretty well by taking the jobs that no one else wants. You know, just little baby crimes like tiny theft and teensy-weensy spying on people. But after the devils came, those jobs became almost impossible to find. I had no idea how hard life was going to be after the incursion. I managed to stay out of it for a while, but I have a bad habit of finding myself in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then one night everything changed. I was running for my life, as you do, and I found this lady who was dying. And then she shoved this into my hands. This is Najwa. Well, I call her that now, but at first I didn't know what to do with her. Books are usually very boring, but she's teaching me all kinds of new things. It's all mostly in pictures because I'm not a super good reader, but I'm gonna figure it out. Najwa's my best friend. So that's how I ended up joining the rebellion. It was all her idea. I wouldn't have bothered, but she gets so mopey when we don't do what she wants to do, and I would do anything to make her happy. She says we have a very important job to do together, so I'm just following her lead. Anyway, enough of that boring stuff. Time to eat. I would offer you some of this bread, but everyone knows that ghosts can't eat.
You can call me Jude. Jude Laurent if you really want to know. I was born here, in the heart of Azmarin. Your Wrath shine her light and bless my birth. At least that's what my mother used to say. Used to. My life was fine, okay at best. I had a loving mother and a father who inspired me to be strong. He taught me to fight. He taught me to protect my own. I joined the city guard because of him. He taught me, most importantly, to survive. I'm a survivor. That's what you do in Azmarin. This city of pseudo-peace and gilded gold. You hold your head up and you survive. When your father dies, you survive. When all is lost and a judgmental man picks you and your mother up from the ashes, you survive. And when the world comes crashing down in infernal flame, you do what you must to survive. None of that matters now. Life as we know it is nothing more than delaying the inevitable. The devil's won. What can we do now? But I think of my mother, what she is, was. I think of my father. I think of what he wanted, what he fought for. I fight back for him. I fight back because I need to make things right. For him. For her. For everyone.
Welcome to the stream. Today is the 5th session of Ashes of Azmarin. And previously on Ashes of Azmarin, CB, why don't you take it away for us?
So what had happened was a lot of stuff, kind of. I'm gonna try to say this as fast, but as specific as possible. We've continued to fight the Barb Devil. Jude just destroyed, not really, but he tried, and it was just a lot of back and forth and back and forth. But Tyrion and Jude end up destroying the Barb Devil at the end. Jude has a moment, starts yelling out for Xavier's name, while the others are getting people out and trying to figure out who all is still there. On one part of town, Jude and Briar go off to go look for Xavier, but they only see a horned devil who was like the jailer of this place, like the person who's running this jail. And with some trickery and charisma, Jude tells him that he's just looking for Xavier because the one who disgraced him told him to go. And he found out that Xavier's being held at the capsule dungeons. And he's like, cool, great. At the same time, the others find Andy Andromeda, who is an interesting individual. And she isn't really, she's saying a lot, but not saying enough. And that's still confusing. But at this point, Jude's like, get the fuck out, Horned Devil, probably gonna come after us. And it did. Luckily, we got out with some banishment attempts, but that failed. Tyrion did cast magic circle, so he couldn't get through that. We got the rest of the prisoners out, and we left that beats. We tell some folk to leave. Well, Briar's like, I don't want any of y'all coming, but Jude told 4 of the rebellion folks to get home. And we all go to Briar's clock tower to rest because we're tired. Blah 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 blah. What else happens at night? We kind of just talk for a bit, but most of you just go to bed. We do hear that a bell was struck, signifying that now Matthias has been strung over the castle. Charlie. Oh, Tyrion has a really cute moment where he takes a ribbon out of his head and puts it in a book for Charlie so she can sleep and be cute. It was adorable. Najwa and Briar had a conversation because Briar's like, what the hell's happening? Why am I seeing shit? I don't like it. And Najwa's like, you were given the power, a destiny. And she's like, I don't want that. And Najwa's like, you don't got a choice. Jude tries to call for Valrock, but nothing happens, which means either he's dead on another plane of existence. Charlie decides to contact Nakir, which is the most important part that happened this night. She asks if Nakir can deliver a message, or if he can help more directly. And he ends up meeting her at the top of the rooftop of the clock tower. Briar, of course, follows, but doesn't say anything. He basically asks her what she wants, and she's like, I need help to get somebody out, or I need a favor. And he's like, I can do it, but it'd be the last thing he ever did. And the only person who can get in is him in the way he wants to get in. And Charlie just like, no, I don't want anybody else to be sacrificed to get there. And he's like, I just told you what I fucking told you. No one else can get in but me. And she's like, there has to be another way. And she told him not to do what he was going to do, even though he would have given his life to do it. He did say that all sources of divine communication within Azmarin are cut off in some way, shape, or form. So like sending stones aren't really working. At least not most sending stones, we don't know. But Nakir does end up leaving, and Charlie is the boss beats that she is, saying she will find another way because life cleric. We end up going back to the safe house, and Dave meets us there. The leaders want to talk to Andy, because obviously she has some information. Specifically, Hellbreaker wants to talk to Andy, but Jude's like, I'm coming too. And Tyrion's like, yeah, we all worked hard. We deserve to know what's going on as well. And Dave leaves and comes back, and it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's cool. But Briar does talk to Jude, asking about what destiny means. And he's like, you can write your own destiny, especially if it goes against what your own body and mind need. It was a nice little moment between them. But they end up going back to talk to Hellbreaker. And we hear, I'm looking at something. We hear the conversation between Hellbreaker and Andy, though we don't see what Hellbreaker looks like. We can hear like a broken voice box, kind of. And we know that she has a connection to the heirs of Wolfcrest, Adelaide, Wolfwood. And we know that Theo apparently might be with Adelaide at some point, or they might be like together. We need to get a message to Theo, because he's the only one who doesn't know what's happening, and he's going to be our only help right now. So Hellbreaker's like, we need to make sure that, everybody in this room is being truthful, because what I'm about to say, only certain people can hear, and only people who are true to the rebellion can know what's happening. And he casts Zone of Truth, and Briar and Jude are like, no. And Hellbreaker's like, someone feels entitled. Excuse me, I know when someone can't, take a hold of my spell, so we're gonna try this again, son, as he steps out, and it's Jude's biological father, who was the once captain of the guard. And Jude's like, bitch, what? And he recasts Zone of Truth, and Jude's like, okay, fine, yeah, do the thing. But he specifically calls Jude Aegon, which is a name that once popped up in Briar's book, which people didn't put together yet. They're attempting to get Theo back to Azmarin. He's the only one who can break us in, and he has access to the Vault of Guns, whatever that means. Andy uses the Sending Stone to contact Adelaide so we can talk to Theo. Jude takes over, calling himself Aegon, saying like, yo, your family dead and you got to come back. Our mission is to basically smuggle Theo in somehow. But as Hellbreaker was being the boss that he is, Jude's like, stop, how the hell are you alive? And apparently he was like tortured in hell for 5 years and he finally broke out and now he's this hardened, broken man's. And he denounced Jude as his son for all the things that Jude's done, but no one has said exactly what Jude has done yet. The Hellbreaker gives us the orders that within the next month we're going to be doing this. And Jude's leaving, but as Jude's leaving, of course, Tyrion has to have one last word. And he's like, we aren't fucking done here, or whatever he said. And Jude's like, okay, bye. And they all go their separate ways, and it's a very hard night. And that's basically what happened last episode.
Where we left off was Charlie went home to speak to her father about the Westwood's possible involvement in the incursion. And our last moment of the session was Charlie going to speak to her mother.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't write that part down.
No worries.
I broke the DM, you're welcome.
What
Did we win? Did CB just win D&D?
Nope. Let's get there. Let's get there. Oh wait, no, I don't think that's right. I think this is right. You find your mother. She is sitting with one of the servants, and they are discussing the groceries for the week.
What a conversation to walk into. I'm going to enter. I am staring straight at my mother. Leave us. And I'll glance at whoever this random person is that Charlie would probably know who it is.
It's your nursemaid who raised you. I'm just kidding.
It's fine. I got things on my brain. I got things I gotta do.
The servant, her name is Sarah.
April. Oh, Sarah.
She kind of gets up and gives you a small curtsy and exits the room. Is there something you needed to speak to me about, darling? How are those young people you were spending time with doing?
No.
Excuse me, young man. Is that really the tone you want to take with me right now?
I'm not here to discuss my tone.
I am.
How long have you been involved? Have we been involved?
Involved. I'm not sure what you mean, darling. I do have very good news about the Bailey family. Archer is coming over for tea tomorrow.
Oh, fantastic, Mother. I'm so excited. I'm talking about the Devil Incursion. Why is our house untouched?
Good fortune, darling.
Good fortune. Why is it really untouched?
Sweetheart. Charlotte. There are some things you need to trouble yourself with. Do you hear me?
There are people dying. Friends. That I care about.
We live in a very troubling time where we are powerless to stop the powers
Are we? Or have you just taken power through some deal?
Taken power? You have no idea what you're talking about.
Then explain it to me.
I've given you, your father and I have given you a life of complete privilege, and you have the audacity to demand explanations. of us when we have to make hard decisions? Would you prefer to be out on the street, motherless, fatherless? Would you prefer to have lived a life of poverty then? Be grateful for what you've been given, because not everybody, almost nobody, has been given what you have.
I am very grateful for the life
You
have
sounded.
given me. I am grateful for the wonderful tutors that you have provided me, who have taught me to ask questions so that I might better understand the world that I live in. Yes, Mother, I am asking you to explain this to me. The Delaney's are being strung up on the street.
The Delaney's have committed their own crimes.
Oh. Do go on. I'll have a seat.
It's not my place. If you're so good at asking questions, why don't you ask somebody who actually has the information?
Okay. That's fair. So I don't need to know the Delaney's involvement in whatever they may or may not be involved in. I do, however, believe you understand whatever involvement we have as a family.
As a family, you have no involvement.
What deal did you make?
Why don't you roll a persuasion check?
Okay. Okay. 22?
I did what I had to do to protect you and your future. The price has already been paid.
And what was the price?
Why does it matter to you? You are safe, that's all that matters.
That is not all that matters.
What have I told you? What's the worst thing it could possibly be? Something that tarnishes your good image? I would never.
This has nothing to do with image.
Then what did it have to do with Charlotte?
It has to do with people dying. Life. Precious life.
And do you think there is anything you can do to stop this? Anything at all? You who've never seen a hard fight in your life.
Oh, right.
Where were you that night when the incursion happened?
Where was I, DM? I assume I was at home.
I assume you were at home as well.
I was at home.
Safe.
Yeah.
You're welcome. The fact that you can even have the audacity to ask me this.
The audacity, yes. Well.
What if I told you it was your dowry that I gave away?
Money. That's what you traded. So that in the
Do you
midst
think
of...
a rebellion is cheap? I mean, do you think an incursion is cheap?
I wouldn't know. I try not to involve myself in such activities.
If you're so upset about what I have done, why don't you pack your things and go? Why don't you take your last name and leave it at the door?
Best idea I've ever heard. And
Actually, those things belong to this house. They belong to this family, and you are no longer a part of this family. You can keep the clothes on your back. But the money that you have is mine. Hand it over.
I'll take the 25 gold.
I noticed some of my jewelry missing as well. You'll pay me back for that.
I don't know anything about any missing jewelry. I will put the 25 gold pieces in a nice, neat stack on whatever nearby table I can find.
Can you make a deception check for me?
Natural 20, I kid you not.
What's the total?
23.
With alarming strength, your mother reaches across the table and grabs a hold of your wrist. Charlotte Elise Westwood, you've no idea what you're getting into.
I will lean a little closer.
Make a perception check.
Oh. Yeah. Oh. 19. I'm very perceptive.
You notice your mother's eyes for just a moment flash red. You feel blood start to drip down your arm, where her fingernails have turned into razor-sharp claws. You've no idea what I've sacrificed for you.
That's not my name anymore. I will jerk my hand back.
Make a strength check.
Oh. Oh, okay. 16.
You try and...
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. I try to pull away, am unsuccessful. I will look down to where she is holding onto my wrist. Please don't make this any more difficult than it already is. And I will cast Hold Person.
It doesn't work.
Ooh. Hold on, let me mark the spell. Okay.
As you do this, you see her sort of shake her head and the red eyes go and she retracts. I'm sorry, dear. Was this something you needed to talk about? What's the matter? You look upset.
Oh dear.
Did I tell you that Archer's coming over for tea? He's so handsome.
You mentioned it.
Oh, you know, my memory isn't as what it used to be. Aren't you excited? I know you two have been such good friends.
Yes, thrilled. I actually have plans, unfortunately, so I won't be able to stay. I'm gonna reach out for her arm. I have no idea if this is gonna work. I have no idea about anything in general, which is appropriate because Mindy doesn't actually know anything about anything. I'm gonna cast Remove Curse.
As you reach forward and you begin to cast the spell, you hear a knock at the door. Oh, darling, I'm not expecting anyone, are you?
No.
The servant, Sarah, opens the door and inside steps a familiar young man. Tyrion, you step into the room to see Charlie and her mother sitting at a table. What's your passive perception?
My passive perception
Yes.
is 12.
Okay. Passive insight is the same?
Passive insight, yeah.
It's right
No,
under.
actually, passive insight's 15.
Okay. Charlie does seem troubled. But you see Tyrion standing before you with a bouquet of wild flowers.
Tyrion.
Oh, Mr. Cariadis, is it? Oh, it's so good to... What lovely flowers. Where on earth did you find those?
I had to look, but as you can imagine, not a lot of opportunities in this city right now. But I found them. They are for you, miss. And he just kind of hands them out, and doesn't actually say which miss, because he's still not sure.
Well, let's put those in some water, why don't we? Sarah, darling, would you get a vase?
Hand them off to Sarah. I think definitely picking up on Charlie's discomfort. He'll maintain the smile veneer, but we'll message Charlie. Are you okay? Did I interrupt something?
Yes. And no. I don't think it's safe here. But I need to speak to my father before we go. But we need to go.
Lady Westwood, I hate to be a bother, but do you happen to have any tea?
What kind of house do you think this is? Of course we have tea. Just one moment. Let me get the servants to get it for you. Oh gosh, I should put on an overcoat. I'll be right back. I didn't realize we were going to have company today. How lovely. Such a
As
handsome
soon as
young man.
as soon as she is out the door. Tyrion, something's going on. I was worried that there was some kind of involvement with the devils, and when I questioned her about it, she was defensive in regards of why she may or may not have had some sort of influence in our families.
I understand what you mean.
But there was something wrong with her eyes, and then it was like she was her again.
And you don't feel safe here?
I don't know what's wrong with her. I don't really want to leave my father alone with her. I don't know if it's all actually her. I mean, don't get me wrong, she can be a handful on a good day. But
Mrs.
this...
It's Sarah.
Yes.
You realize she's been standing there with the tea.
Sarah, thank you.
She's trembling as she sets it down.
Sarah, why don't you find a nice vase for those flowers and stay hidden for a few minutes?
She gives you a low nod and then hastily gets a vase from the counter or from one of the cabinets, puts the flowers in there, pours a little bit of water, and then leaves.
Charlotte, go find your father, warn him if you need, grab what things you have. I will hold your mother off in the best way that I know how. Manners.
Thank you. I'll lean up and give you a kiss on the cheek, and I will scurry off to find my dad.
He's in his study reading.
I will look hastily around to make sure Mama's nowhere near anywhere, and I will close the door behind me when I enter.
Yes, dear. Something the matter?
Have you noticed any peculiar behavior with Mother recently? I'm watching his eyes too, just in case. I don't think there's anything up with Dad, but like,
They never leave the paper. They never look at you. He doesn't answer.
when I cast Hold Person on my mom, did it feel like I normally cast it, or did it feel like the magic washed right past?
Have you ever cast Hold Person before?
I mean, I don't. Maybe. I probably did as like a joke with like with the delay, like when we play tag, like that's freeze tag.
Sure. It didn't seem like it had any effect on her.
Did it feel like it would feel if they were just strong enough to
Hard to
resist
tell.
or just dang it, okay. Dad?
Yes, darling.
Can you answer my question?
He looks up at you and you see him shake his head.
Wait. Can you write it down? Do you need help?
Darling, I have no idea what you're talking about. Perhaps it's time for bed.
I actually, I have plans for the evening, so,
Oh, are you out with that, young man from the library?
Tyrion. Yes, actually. I'm going to have dinner with Tyrion and some friends.
Very good. Have a good evening.
You too. I'll leave.
So we have on our hands a month of downtime, and before CB leaves, I would like to know what Jude is going to do with a month of downtime.
First of all, ouch. That was a lot. Just all around. He's definitely alone for a chunk of time. At least the next 3 or 4 days after that. But he would have flipped into hardened military mode, almost try to start stalking devils, killing them left and right, to like take out anger, or shame, whatever the case is. Perhaps they're two sides of the same coin. But he would have done the one thing he needs to do. Doesn't know if he's successful, but he would have begun to try to contact his mother.
How do you think he would have done that?
You know how Joel got in The Last of Us when he needed to start interrogating people? So he's finding devils who can get him to, or humans who can get him to devils, who can get him to high-ranking humans, who can get him to high-ranking devils, in which each one he is tying them down, keeping them sedated, getting the information he needs via whether it's his own truth, or whether it means etching an infernally radiant wound into their chest, sticking daggers in certain areas to keep them down, commanding them, whatever the case may be, to get the information he needs. He's very persuasive.
Why don't you go ahead and make some checks for me? Why don't you first make I want you to make 3 attack rolls.
3 attack rolls?
Yeah.
The first is a 21.
Okay.
The second is a 24.
Okay.
The third is a natural 20.
Okay. Let's shift over to... Make 3 intimidation rolls. The third is with advantage.
Okay. I was like, do I have intimidation? I do. Okay. So first roll, amethyst dice. That's a 21. Second roll, dice. That is a 25. Third roll,
Advantage, yeah.
with advantage, is an 18.
Okay.
No, 19. Sorry, math.
Okay. And then make 3 insight checks.
Okay. 4. 19. 17.
Okay. What is your end goal with this? Is to speak to your mother?
Yeah. My
Okay.
end goal is to be face to face with her.
Okay. It takes you about 3 weeks, and in each of these weeks you speak to, the very first person you speak to is a clerk, actually, of the courts, who puts you in touch with an imp named Bash, who finally puts you in touch with a speaker of another speaker of Arathis. You, by the end of this, are able to secure entrance into the House of Arathis and a time about 3 hours of your mother's office hours, essentially, where you are guaranteed to be alone and nobody will interrupt you. Do you, at any point in time, go searching for any of your other party members? Or do you kind of do your own thing? Either answer is fine.
During that time, because Jude isn't perfect, I want to make that clear. He's very strong, he's very good at what he does, but he's not perfect. In the times where he fails or where images of his father plague him and he needs, or he just doesn't know where to go. Perhaps he thought he was going to go to one of his random places and it's burned down or it's too infested. He finds Briar. Looking for the small things that he knows she does. He isn't that insightful or perceptive, however, he understands what it means to be alone, especially during this time, so he can kind of start putting 2 and 2 together. Whether she's at the clock tower or not, but he would definitely find her to also make sure she's not alone, or give her some company, because he's truthfully speaking, she's probably the only one he actually considers a friend. Tyrion and Charlie are associates, people he needs to work with, people who will probably never speak to after this is done. Yeah.
What does Briar do when she sees Jude? When you see Jude?
So Briar is definitely still kind of centered or based in the clock tower, so I don't think it would have been that hard to find her. And I think she's pretty excited to see Jude. Nobody ever comes to visit her. And
on days when she doesn't really have much to do, she just kind of sits and looks out over the city. So seeing him coming, she probably would have gotten pretty stoked and helped him find his way up, or if he has errands to run, just kind of tag along with him. Yeah, I think she's pretty receptive.
And I don't know if they say much whenever they hang out, maybe a little, in their own little, 5 words can mean a whole essay vibe. So, but he'll sometimes come with like food that he stole. But not stole as in like I'm going to a shop and steal, and it's literally give me your damn sandwich. And but yeah, he would take his time. I do think he probably is going to run into Tyrion at some point, but he's not actively searching for her.
Sure. Okay. We have some things that are going to come up as a result of your interrogation, but I think they should definitely wait until next session since you have to go in a minute. Why don't we go ahead and take a really quick 2-minute break while we say goodbye to CB so that he can go off and do some stuff, and we'll be right back.
Love y'all.
Oh baby, I love your madness. It's so incredibly beautiful. Oh, you shine like gold, so selfless to all, and wild like an animal. Some would say I'm insane in the right in a way, but I just love to play in your fun and your games. Always hungry for more, that's just how I was born. Take me somewhere I don't know, and give me your freedom. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need. Oh baby, I love your madness. It's
Welcome to our Patreon. Here on Open for Adventure, we are making high-quality Dungeons & Dragons content, folks. We have a great big world to share with you, and by becoming a patron, you can help us explore and expand upon this adventure. With your support, we can invest in more amazing artwork, better mics, fancy cameras, and overall stream quality. Not to mention, help us get some amazing new merch that we can use for giveaways. What do you get by becoming a patron? I'm so glad you asked. Let's take a look at the different levels and give you a sneak peek at what you can get at each tier. Did you know that the family of the First Lord Theo, the leader of the rebellion against the Empire, actually invented firearms nearly 25 years prior to the current campaign? The designs for this high-tech weapon are the Delaney family's best-kept secret. Also, they were originally invented by the late First Lady Victoria, Theo's mother. Access to lore leaks like this is what you can expect from the first tier, written in blog-style posts after each weekly session. Ever wondered what goes on off-camera? The next 3 tiers give you exactly that. With Stolen Moments, you can get access to text-based roleplay moments, highlighting experiences that don't make it onto the stream, like Leona's training session with Ray and Azmarin. Stolen Moments Plus gives you access to roleplay moments featuring our guests, non-player characters, and historical figures, featuring the likes of Marshall, Annalena, and even the Empress herself. And Roleplay Addiction takes us to a whole other level. This tier gives you exclusive 30-minute videos of canon interactions not otherwise seen on stream, like late-night drunken interactions between paladins or tender moments featuring your favorite character ships. The Warm Fuzzies is super simple. It's everything I've listed so far, and also you get your name on stream after our weekly regular sessions. Every session. And our Undying Love. And finally, the most epic of all Patreon tiers. Drum roll, please. The Lore Master. This ultimate and final tier gets you first look access at all of the content going into our upcoming, official, Open for Adventure campaign setting. Lore, maps, monsters, items, dungeons, dragons. Go ahead, have a look around, make yourself at home, and consider becoming a patron to help us make this fantasy world a little bit closer to reality. Welcome back. Unfortunately, CB had to leave us, but we are going to very first go back in time. The 21st of the Crimson Moon. This is the night of the incursion. Briar, you have never seen a night like this before. Out of all of the wrong places and wrong times you've ever been a part of, this is by far the worst. It's dark, impossibly dark, barely a moon in the sky. And all of the lights are out. You hear the alarm bells, but by the time the bells are going off, half of the city is in flames. You find yourself running. You hear screams, the very distinct sound of life ending at blades, at claws, at teeth. At first, you don't see what is causing this immense loss of life, this incursion. But when you do, it's terrifying, horrifying. Creatures you've never seen before or heard of. Massive creatures with horns and leathery wings and scales and spikes. Tiny creatures that can turn invisible on a whim. Briar, what is your goal for tonight? What are you trying to do?
Get home, I guess.
Okay.
As far away as possible.
Definitely. You are crawling through some of your usual spaces in the city. You are, one of them is through a basement of one of the popular, very fancy inns that the basement has. This inn spans 2 whole city blocks, and you can navigate if you just dip into it through one window and out the other. As you're doing so, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. 16 plus 6, 22.
Okay, so in an instant, something has crashed through the ceiling, through all 3 floors, and lands with a slam, a crash, a boom that ripples through this entire building. You are able to duck and dodge out of the way, hiding behind a stone wall that comes tumbling around you. Smoke fills your lungs as you try and crawl out. And you see in the center of this, you're expecting a meteor or something. But there's a woman. She has rubble all around her. The building has collapsed in on itself where she came through. And she currently has a what are those things called? A pillar jutting through her chest. She is, you see, and even in the dark, you can see pretty well, she is elven descent, long black hair that is impossibly perfect for what she is experiencing. There's a dark glow about her. She's very sharp features, and she looks over directly to you. You have no idea how she sees you. You there? Come here.
I'll take like 2 steps forward, not get too close.
She seems eerily calm. And as you take 2 steps forward, you notice she is covered in bite marks and slashes. This is clearly, she has been through something on her way here. Will you fulfill an old woman's dying wish?
I guess.
She reaches around the spike into one of her dress pockets and pulls out a book.
How big is this thing that she's impaled by? Does it seem like I could feasibly try to lift it?
It's like a structure of the building. You'd have to lift her off of it.
Got it.
Here.
I'm not very good with books. Do you want, I could try to get you out of here. I could go find help.
There's no help for me now. But this cannot fall into the wrong hands. Take it away from here.
And put it where?
Away from the devils.
Reluctantly reach out and take the book.
As soon as your hands touch this book, there is a blinding flash of light. And everything goes dark for just a moment, as space and time seem to coalesce into a fraction of a second. You see the stars, the night sky. You feel yourself being pulled, your consciousness pulled up higher and higher, as over the city, over the continent, over the globe. You go higher and higher into the stars, into the astral sea, a sea of the heavens. And you see a figure in front of you. A massive spectral figure with long black wings and a scythe on their back. They are genderless, formless, shapeless. And they reach forward and collide into you. And in that moment, you are pulled back. And the woman in front of you is gone. You have this book.
Gone like dead or gone like not present?
Like not present. There is still blood there, and make a quick perception check.
Perception is decent. 21.
The ground where she was is covered in ash.
Just run. Just
Yeah.
run.
Yeah. Clutching this book tightly to your chest?
If it's kind of big, I feel like I would have just thrown it in my bag and taken off.
Sure, yeah. You throw it in your bag and you take off. Suddenly the screams are much louder. Every scream is as if it is right next to you, and when you look behind you, there's nothing there. It feels as though you are losing your mind a little bit. It feels as though everything is silent and loud at the same time. When you get to your clock tower, and you scramble and you look over the city that's burning, you watch as small motes of light rise out of the city, out of buildings, and ascend. Tens, hundreds of them.
I think after seeing that, this might be probably the only time that Briar has ever truly been like terrified. And she probably just kind of huddles down in a corner. One or two tears fall, and just tries to be as tiny and invisible as possible, hoping that this is a nightmare or something.
And that is where we will end this flashback.
Yikes.
Tyrion, in an equally terrifying situation. You find yourself at the Westwood estate. Charlie has gone upstairs. And down comes Mrs. Westwood. Well, isn't it a nice night out?
Yes, my lady, it is quite a lovely evening. How are you this evening? I don't mean to intrude on your house. I felt terrible about the last time that I was here with some of my less than articulate compatriots, and I wanted to apologize on their behalf.
You know, I never forget a face. Do you know who that is?
The smaller?
Oh no, I don't know her. The young man.
She's lovely, though. She's absolutely lovely individual.
Certainly.
Mm-hmm.
The young man, though, he's, do you know much about him?
You know, I thought I did, and then I recently learned that I knew absolutely nothing about him.
Sometimes it goes that way, doesn't it?
It very much does.
You know, Mr. Cariadis, I did a little research on your family, just out of curiosity. You know, Cariadis is such a unique name, and I hadn't heard it before. Your father was quite an accomplished man, wasn't he?
In his own way, yes. Ma'am, he was.
Certainly. You know, of course, I'm quite protective of my daughter. You know, she's the last Westwood, as it were, and we would love to see her continue the Westwood line in her own way. Whatever that looks like for her. And you know, I always thought it would be young Asher. He's quite a daring young man. I heard he's getting caught up in the rebellion, though. What a shame.
Mm-hmm. I don't know much about the rebellion.
Is that so? What have you been doing since your library burnt down?
I have a small bookshop just on the edge of the Scholars' Village, and it's modest. but it keeps me busy.
Oh, I'm sure it does. How lovely, how quaint. Of course, it really should be Miss Westwood's, Charlie's father who speaks to you about this, but I was just curious about what your intentions with our daughter are.
I'm not sure I follow you, ma'am. Charlotte is an absolutely lovely young woman. She and I think, have a friendly relationship.
Friendly, very well, very good. Just,
I also care very much about her safety.
Very good. Of course, it's a dangerous time that we're living in. I don't leave the house myself. I don't have a need, so, as it were, we are hoping, her friendship with Asher, Mr. Bailey, will bloom, as it were. But, I was lucky enough to have a choice in my love, and would love for her to have the same choice.
Of course. Does Tyrion know Asher?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
What do we know of Asher?
I'm gonna message you, Tyrion.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
What do I know of Asher?
You know that Asher is very brave. Asher's the reason that you joined the rebellion. He's a very good friend of yours. You're not convinced he would make a woman a very happy husband. Not exactly sure that is his type.
Well, Miss Westwood, absolutely. As I said, I came to apologize, and I also just wanted to see if Charlotte wanted to perhaps go on a walk, get some fresh air on the.
Oh, you've such good manners, Mr. Cariadis. How becoming, how charming.
He's gonna.
Charlie.
Did we determine, that devils can be picked up by detect magic? I don't think we did. I think it was the magic items.
No.
Okay. Then yeah, he's okay. He's good for now.
Charlie, upstairs, you're getting no response. Oh, it's at this point that Charlie does come down.
Can before I come down, because I want to see if I can do things. I forgot about it, but it's okay.
What does it do?
I would like to, the spell that was interrupted with my mother, now that it is just me and my dad, I would like to, I assume he's still reading his book. I would like to very lightly, no pretense, just go to kind of reach for his hand, more so like a small gesture of affection. I don't take he is the hugging type necessarily.
Not necessarily.
But I would like to cast Remove Curse if I can, see if he can talk.
As you do, nothing happens.
Okay.
He continues to read his newspaper unaffected.
I'll go back downstairs.
When you come back downstairs, you see your mother fawning over young Tyrion, running her, touching his hair. It's so beautiful. It's so light. I just wonder, where did that come from?
Mother,
it's fascinating.
Maybe don't. Tyrion.
Miss Westwood, it's quite all right. To answer your question, lady, it came from a little bit from my mother, and the rest of it came from stress.
Oh, what's a shame you're so young. How old are you?
I believe Charlie and I are right around the same age.
Is that your way of not answering?
I can't remember.
27? 27, right?
I think it's 20. It was 27 or 26. Yeah.
Oh, when is your birthday?
It has. It's coming up, I believe, in a month.
Oh, so just a little bit younger than Charlie. How fascinating.
Do I recognize what is happening
Mm-hmm.
in this? Mother, we are going to go. We have plans for the evening. Do tell Asha that I said hello, though, and I'll try to.
Oh, certainly. And darling, and she takes your wrist where you can still feel the puncture marks from her claws. Don't be out too late.
We won't. And Tyrion will place his hand lightly on Charlie's shoulder, and he will cast protection from good and evil.
Okay. Roll a both of you roll perception.
I'm gonna burn one of my advantages.
Okay.
I am as well.
I mean, that was technically better. Perception, you said?
Yes.
Eek. I mean, 15?
Okay.
18.
Tyrion, you notice a shift in her eyes as you cast the spell. You two have a lovely evening.
Thank you, lady. We will do our utmost best. You have a lovely evening as well, and please enjoy the flowers.
Oh, thank you, Tyrion. I will. Two of you are able to escape the Westwood Manor.
From the look that she gave, I'm going to assume it was one of animosity. Is this something where they need to worry about her potentially following?
Roll insight.
That was a 19 plus 5, so 24.
I wouldn't say you have to worry about her following, but I would imagine that you would want to be on the lookout on your way, wherever you're going.
Okay. He's going to cast Arcane Lock on the door just as they leave, just in case.
Noted! Noted. Where do you two go?
Said she never leaves the house. I want to make sure. Charlie, I would like to offer you a place to stay. As I mentioned before, my home is always open to you, and if you do not feel safe in yours, you're welcome in mine.
Thank you, Tyrion.
I'd actually like to show you something if you don't mind having a short walk.
Fresh air sounds great right now, so sure, lead the way.
And he will lead her into the more burned out area of the Scholars Village. It's to the point where a lot of the structures are no longer standing, kind of the charred remnants of them. And at a certain row, he comes to a stop in front of what used to be the front door of one of the buildings there. And he reaches into his bag and he pulls out another bouquet of flowers and he sets it in front of the door. Charlie, I wanted to show you this. This was my first home. This was where my mother lived. This is where my mother died. And I want you to know that I know what it's like to lose a home, and I know what it's like to lose a parent, and it's not the same, but it is. I want you to know that I will always be here for you, and that I care very much about you. I wanted to show you this. This is not something I would share with, I think, anyone else. but you are very important to me.
I will reach for your hand, and I will just give it a light squeeze. Thank you, Tyrion, for bringing me here, for the book, all of the books, for everything.
Of course.
For what it's worth, I'm not going anywhere either.
You know, it's kind of funny. I have read so many pages, so many books in my life, and for the longest time I've been able to read people just as well as I can read books. But it's like you're written in a language I don't know. I've never been able to read you properly.
It's very interesting.
I feel like I have so many words in my mind. I know words in half a dozen languages. I can never find the right ones for you. They're never what I want them to be.
It's funny you say that, but I think I understand whatever words you're trying to say in one of the many languages you speak. But maybe it's just language or book you haven't read yet. Maybe it's just not written yet.
That's I couldn't have said it better.
Oh, I'm sure you could have.
I've tried. It's getting late. I'm sure curfew is soon. We should get back home.
Home. We should. If that offer, I hope, remains as long as I hope it does, I do plan to take you up on it, at least for a bit, until I can figure out what is going on with my parents.
Of course, we'll do our best. That's all we can do.
Charlie, you hear from the alleyway in the direction that you came, a small, I don't want to say a crash is too much, but a sound, a disturbance.
Looked at Tyrion, but start to, I don't know if I want to move closer. That doesn't seem like a great idea, but I do kind of want to see if I can see what it is or who it is.
If you want to cross the street and look from across the street, you could.
I will, probably not realizing I hadn't let go, slowly let go of Tyrion's hand and move across the street cautiously.
There's a small body in the alleyway. Small form.
Does it, okay. Can I, I'm gonna get closer, because...
Yeah, it's the body of an imp.
It's
dead.
It's dead. Oh. I'm gonna look up. Do I see any sign of what
Roll
or
perception.
who. That is not a d20. Ooh. 20? No, that's not how you do math. 17.
From the sky falls a single black feather.
I will slowly back away and go back to Tyrion.
Is everything okay?
We should probably go.
Okay.
So we go back to Tyrion's place.
Okay. Let's talk about your downtime, Briar. What do you spend the next month doing? Or not doing?
I think probably for the first several days, Briar just kind of lays low. Kind of like at first pretending like everything's fine, nothing's any different than it normally is, but I think eventually she would sit down with Najwa and start to finally get kind of serious about not studying, I don't know what the word would be, but kind of asking Najwa to push her a little bit, just because a lot of stuff is happening that she does not understand.
Are you asking any specific questions?
I think, are all those names still written in the book if I try to open it? If that's the case, I
Yes.
think it probably would have taken her a little bit to piece it together, but would ask Najwa about Aegon's name in the book.
Some words begin to appear at the top. Those who have made bargains.
Okay. I really don't think she would bring it up with Jude. I mean, I realize CB's not here, but I don't think she would broach that.
Sure.
He doesn't seem ready or willing, probably. Probably after the first week, I would go see if I could find Tyrion. And ask him to just help her keep practicing.
Do you ask to keep practicing with Najwa, or do you take Najwa to Tyrion and ask for help, or are you just looking for reading help from Tyrion?
I mean, she's always with me, so
Sure, but are you trying to
I
show
think
him Najwa? I'm here if you are. I just need to know.
Yeah, I think maybe not at first. At first, it's kind of just like innocuous, like, let's just practice our letters kind of a thing. But after a couple of visits over the next couple of weeks, I would probably pull Najwa out.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
For the sake of this, we'll say that, would you do this if Charlie was there, or would you prefer it to happen when you and Tyrion are alone?
I don't think it's necessarily a secret from Charlie, but I think Briar might be too bashful to ask for help and do these lessons. Yeah, I think Briar would be a little bit too bashful in front of Charlie, just because she has such a high, high esteem, I guess, of Charlie.
So on this particular day, Tyrion, you see Briar pull out a book. The book. that you have seen her carry.
Is this what you wanted to work on today?
Kind of. Did you, when I handed you the book weeks ago, did you look in it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that at that point Briar was very protective of her cat book. And yeah, especially when he lost it. Yeah, full body fear.
Okay. I will just kind of throw it up on the table and like drag this giant stool or chair over next to Tyrion and open it up.
What page are you just opening it up to any page or a familiar
I'm just
page?
flipping it open to any random page and I say, Najwa, I need you to show Tyrion what you could do.
Tyrion, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oops, sorry.
Okay. That was 17 plus 5, so 22.
Okay, you do not take any damage as you attempt to look at this book. However, Briar, as you open up to a random page, you find yourself flipping past a map of the city. And this map is stained with blood, with red. It's just one of the many pages that are in this book. The book is constantly changing and evolving. Has had a lot more pictures originally. Now it's got more words for you. Tyrion, as she flips open to this page, it's blank for a while, and you find yourself concentrating and wondering what it is that she's wanting you to look at, until you see the big red words.
Is this the kind of thing where, like, almost looking at it is straining on the eyes, or like
Yes.
minor headache? Yeah.
You see the words as though they are written in blood that say, "You are not the Reaper."
Do I see that?
No.
Briar, I have seen my share of oddities when it comes to literature in the past. I myself have a spell book. Where did you find this?
In a basement.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't think your book likes me very much, and that's
Not true. Najwa likes you a whole bunch.
okay. And they are one and the same, because I'm still not clear on that.
Yes. Yeah, the book is the cat and the cat is Najwa, but Najwa is also the book because the cat is the book.
He's like idly petting the book. Okay, how about this? I don't think that I am meant to read this book. For one reason or another, I think you... If I were to call you a Reaper, would that mean something to you?
No.
Mm-hmm. Alright, what do you see on this page?
What do I see on that page? Anything?
On that page, did you flip past the map, or would you just lingered?
I probably had stopped flipping once he started looking at it, so it's still on the same.
Sure, it's on the bloodstained map.
It's a map, and there's like a little bit of blood, but it's old, so you don't have to. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
See, there's my house, and then here's your house. See?
I don't, and that's where my confusion is coming from. I basically see a go no further, this book is not for you, in shorter and more intimidating phraseology.
I'll flip to another page. Najwa, why can't he see this?
Briar, you've never seen this image before, but it's of Tyrion. And his eyes are bleeding.
I look at his face, and then I look back at the photo picture, and then I look at his face again. No, I think I think you're confused. See, his face is fine.
I'm sorry, what about my face?
Nothing sharp around your face. Just be careful, I guess. I'm not sure.
Do you flip the page again?
I'll flip the page again. What are you talking about?
It's a picture of you with your wings and your hood. And it says, "I'm yours."
Okay, okay, Tyrion, I don't... Something... I'm gonna close the book and kind of push it away from me a little bit.
Turns into a cat.
I'll give her a very long look.
What?
This is out loud. Are you saying I'm gonna poke his eyes out?
No.
I don't... Can I tell him?
Having something with your...
You can tell the Azmar whatever you want.
The ass what?
I'm going to get some ham.
Azmar.
I don't know what that means.
She rubs up against, comes up and, you know how cats do that thing where they're, looking for pets? He's descended from angels. He's an Azmar.
Tyrion, forget the ham. Come back here.
Yeah, okay. He has just, a little bit for Najwa, because he doesn't want to be killed by a book. That's a very Twilight Zone way for him to go.
Tyrion.
Yes.
Are you keeping secrets from me?
I think I've been incredibly open with you.
I don't think he knows what he is. Just like you don't know what you are.
Is this about Charlie? Because I know she's staying here now, and Yes, I do have... I don't mean to keep that from you, and it's probably best, We're just seeing where things go right now, so... I think that's... If that's the secret, yes, I'm sorry, I should have been upfront.
Yes, that was the secret. I knew it. That was it. Okay, I didn't exactly find this book by itself. There was this lady, and it was weird. She died, and then I saw the stars, and I don't know exactly, but I think we both might be more than we think we are.
Najwa hops off the table and begins to walk towards the area where Tyrion keeps the banned books.
I'll follow her.
Tyrion can...
in the cellar?
She, paws at the...
Okay. Opens it.
She jumps down and begins to wander around. What's the structure? Is it just a bunch of bookshelves, or are they stacked, or what are they like?
Yeah, so it's kind of like stone retaining walls on all sides. single lantern in the center that he normally casts light on, so it doesn't actually have a normal power source. And then, basically some very ramshackle shelves that he kind of installed himself. This was more of a root cellar before.
Sure.
So like dirt floor, and a small table to sit at just in case. There's like a cot down here. It's also kind of a bunker of sorts. There's like rations and things like that.
Yeah.
But
Najwa goes to the far right side of one of the shelves, and on the very bottom stack, she begins to paw at a book, and with one single claw, pulls it off the shelf, and watch as it falls and stands there proudly.
This is why you don't have cats. We'll go over to the book.
It is a book about magic. A very, very old book about magic, and it is a book about the different ways you can get magic.
Did it fall open to a certain page, or is it just like...
No, it's just on its side. It's just,
Okay.
It's not open.
Your book wants me to read this book, I think. Is that...
I mean, she's a cat now, but yeah, I guess so.
I will get this straight. Okay, well, we're going to keep working on your vocabulary, and we might as well read this. Apparently that's what you are wanted to read.
Okay.
Okay. We will bring that back upstairs and try to work through with Briar.
So this book has several chapters. It's a very thick tome, and it lays out the most well-read parts are the first 6 chapters. They are about wizardry, about being a cleric, about being all different kinds of casters, essentially. Paladin powers.
The Bard chapter gets really inappropriate.
It gets really weird. There's a Warlock chapter, which also can be really weird. But the Warlock is the last chapter, or the last main chapter that most people get to. And you notice that this book has been read hundreds of times. And the last section is about this big, and it's not as touched. It's not as read. And until you get to that point, Najwa is restless. She paces on the table. When you finally get to that point where it talks about the other, more mysterious ways to become magic, she finally sits down.
What does the chapter cover?
It covers... it talks about how, though these are the main ways that most people get magic, they are not the only ways to acquire magic. Some people are... it talks about sorcerers, origins, and that kind of thing previously. And there's a special note at the very end, sort of in the middle, and it talks about an ability that is not as studied, and it is that of an oracle. It talks about how oracles are born. Some of their powers can go latent their whole lives. But for the most part, save for one exception, they are born. The one exception is that of the Reaper.
I think definitely when he sees that word, it clicks.
It has a footnote that references another book, which is also in your collection.
But I will be right back. I need another... okay.
The book that you grab is a book that is... you've always kind of regretted having because it is so poorly peer-reviewed. There are not a lot... It's not very scholarly at all. It's often quite almost considered mythical. Like, even for a setting that has a lot of myths that we know that is reality, there are still myths within this world. And this studies them. And one of them is that of death. That death has an embodiment called the Reaper. The Reaper is a figure of wondrous power. Someone who strives to quiet restless souls and lives and send mortal souls to their final reward. They are perceptive, knowledgeable, hidden, quiet. Some of them have an aging touch, that their simple touch can age living creatures and objects. Some of them have knowledge of the ages where they can search through time and recall bits of forgotten lore and information. Others can cause creatures to relive their moral crises, to cause them to remind them of all of their moral failures, to obliterate memories, to call upon the I don't know how to say this word out loud. Inexorable? Yeah, sure. Ravages of time and cause a creature to return to dust. To kill a creature with a true death, where they cannot be resurrected. And some have even been rumored to be able to erase a creature from time.
What does it say?
Briar, we're friends, right?
Yeah.
Good. I'm very glad of that. So you found this book in a basement with a dead person, you saw some stars, and then a dark cloaked figure?
She didn't tell you that.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. And now you have since finding that book, this book, your cat, have you noticed changes? And yourself?
Yeah, I mean, my hair is a little bit longer now, I guess, than when I first found her.
I think he's piecing together the fact that they have all seen Briar has had wings, like shadowy mists.
And you remember what you saw whenever she killed a creature.
Right. Briar, I have a theory. This word here is oracle.
Mm-hmm.
And it appears that there are different types of oracles. And I believe that you are at least in part, a reaper. That's the word here, R-E-A-P-E-R. Do you feel...
Just like scratching that out as he spells it.
Do you feel a connection to death now?
Oh, do you mean the ghosts?
I'm sorry, what?
The ghosts.
Pretend that you are teaching me something now. You know how I walk you through and I explain things from the beginning.
Right. Okay, so ghosts come from dead people.
Uh-huh.
They used to be people, and now they're not alive people anymore.
Same page, right?
Yeah.
And you have them?
I mean, I don't have them. They're their own dead people, but
Okay.
Sometimes they keep me company. Like, do you remember when we broke into the prison and my friend scared that weird guy away?
Would I have been able to see there was a Goliath ghost, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would I have seen that?
You would have seen.
I think you said like Briar's shadow stretched or something.
Yes. Briar almost took on her form for a brief second. I don't remember if you explicitly saw it, but I think some people in the group saw something.
Briar, I've never seen your friends. I do know that ghosts exist. That's a general fact of the world we live in. And you have ghosts. They keep you company.
Yeah, well, I mean, only one at a time.
Of
I think they must be busy with stuff. But yeah, sometimes whenever I wake up, I say, what do I need to do today? And then I think about what I need to do, and I think about all my ghost friends, and I say, will you come with me? Whichever one I think can help me the most.
Did you know these ghosts when they were alive people?
No.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Does the book say anything about spectral servants of any kind?
Death is served. It says death is served by many forms.
I can tell.
What are you asking me exactly, Tyrion?
I
don't know, and that's the frustrating part.
Tyrion, it switches between calling the Reaper a Reaper and calling the Reaper death.
Briar, I believe that you are maybe a psychopomp, which is one of my favorite words. Perhaps even the anthropomorphized form of death? Do you feel like you are...
I always feel more anthropomorphized. Always, so don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm. An avatar, maybe, of death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, sorry, I'm having bad words. In the same way that Najwa is both a book and a cat, you are both a gnome and death. Does that sound right?
I turn to Najwa.
Meow.
What, is that right?
Sounds pretty good to me.
Well, why didn't you tell me that?
I did.
When?
In the book. With the pictures.
So, does that mean I'm just supposed to kill everybody?
No.
Tyrion, you better run.
Okay.
No, you're not supposed to kill everybody. That's not the point.
Oh, wait, hold on. She says I don't have to kill you. It's fine.
You can if you want, but it's up to you.
No, I mean, not yet. I mean, okay, I guess when you put it like that, it makes sense, because the ghosts and the bells ringing in my head and stuff. Okay, so I'm not a ghost, right? I just pinch myself really hard.
It hurts.
I don't think ghosts can get pinched, so I think I'm still real. Okay, Tyrion, I guess we should read more of this one then.
All right. Hey, I want to ask you a question. You have some lovely conversations, I imagine, with Najwa. I get half of them. Would it be feasible, and do you think safe, for me to try to contact Najwa, perhaps telepathically?
I glance at Najwa.
You can try.
Go ahead.
I will message Najwa. You are Briar's friend?
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Should have known better. Hey, that was an 18 though. So 18 plus 5, so 23.
Nothing bad happens to you.
Thank God.
The cat stares at you and says, I'm not real.
What'd she say? She's funny, isn't she?
Reality is subjective. I'm sure you can agree with that. I just want to know that you have Briar's best interest at heart, if you have one of those?
I serve the balance of the universe. I'm a representation of what Briar needs.
Alright, just be there for her, and make sure that she's on the right side of the
I
balance.
don't serve you.
I'm not asking you to, I'm asking you a favor. You can do it or not,
Do you think you have influence here?
I know I don't.
Then why bother?
I gave you ham.
It was very good.
I'm just...
My corporeal form doesn't need sustenance, though.
From a person just asking for help to an unknowable being of infinite power, like
The
I said,
only
you can do it or
noble
not.
being of infinite power in this room is Briar.
Alright. Well then I will do what I can. And you just be a good cat.
You continue to order me around. Make suggestions. I'm amused.
At least I could do that. I'll get you some more ham.
Be careful how much information you give her at one time.
Alright.
I have been working very hard over the last 6 months. You realize you've no longer cast message. She is just communicating with you telepathically now.
Do you mind me asking what your ultimate goal is, if you have one?
To restore the Reaper to power. Make a persuasion check.
11... 13.
The cat, this wasn't a very high DC, the cat moves forward and you get a flash in your mind of exactly what Briar saw on the 21st of Crimson Moon. You watch from not from Briar's perspective, but from another perspective, the perspective of the person. The elven woman. You see Briar in her 6-month previous form. The woman whose vision you are looking out of reaches into her pocket and pulls out a journal, just an ordinary book, hands it over. And the moment Briar touches it, turns incorporeal and enters the book. And you watch a single mode of light fly up, as if part of her has passed on, but part of her remains behind.
But I think our lesson is over for today. I need to be alone for a minute. Help yourself to whatever you like in the pantry, and can I?
Are you okay?
hug? Yeah, no, I'm fine. Can I don't want to. I don't want to ask for anything inappropriate. Can you just have a hug, maybe?
Why?
Just need one.
Okay.
I guess I'll approach.
You're a good friend, Briar, and you're always going to stay that way.
Oh, that's good news. But yeah, you can. I will leave you alone so you can figure things out with Charlie.
I'll pack the book up, throw it in my bag. And before I leave, I'm going to pat him on the arm and say,
Thanks, buddy. You're an angel.
and I'll take off.
If you're ever hungry, dinner's always around 6. You're always welcome.
I already took some stuff, but thanks.
I know.
Najwa, you watch as Najwa turns into a book and Briar puts her away. But as soon as Briar leaves, there's a cat again. You serve her
So
loyally.
I'm sorry, Camille, what'd you say?
You serve her loyally.
I probably care about my friends a little too much. Or was that a command?
No. It was a praise. But you have many questions.
A few. I'm not sure that they're possible to be answered, especially in mortal form.
Ask me one question about you, about yourself, and I will answer it.
I don't know. Fine. What is my purpose?
There's a long silence. Do you want the short answer or the long one?
I have nothing but time. I assume you'd probably know better, but I don't want to know the answer to that question.
You have some time. Do you know what you are?
I'm a librarian.
What is your race?
I'm human,
No.
I guess. No?
No.
My father was human as far as I'm aware. My mother was human as far as I'm aware.
And then why are you different?
Am I? I don't know.
You are. You always have been. But you've only noticed it since you met her.
Sorry.
Do you remember the day you saw her walking home?
Of course I do.
Someone was throwing trash out of their window, and it was going to hit her.
Didn't.
It didn't.
But that was just a spell. I study magic. It's what I do. I mean, that's other people can do that.
You are magic.
Okay. What kind?
Divine. Protection.
Protection of her?
What she represents. Of what she
Close enough.
embodies. But your destiny is your own.
It's not a choice, is it? I mean, it is, but it's not. All right. Thank you for that. Are you going to be sticking around then?
No. I just wanted to tell you.
Thank you. As Is there anything I can do for you? Not that I'm willing to make a bargain with death at this particular moment, but tit for tat, I suppose.
There is a creature you've met.
Mm-hmm.
A fiend.
Mm-hmm.
You do not like him.
I think I know the one you're referencing.
He is Charlie's destiny, too. You must make peace with that. Cat turns around and walks away.
He's just gonna sit with those thoughts for a bit.
It's at that moment that Charlie walks in the door.
I think I saw Briar. Maybe not. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes.
She was here for her lesson.
Right. How is that going? You're
Very
down
well.
in the cellar still. I wasn't right down. Are we still down in the the band
I imagined he was bringing the books back up for better light, so they can be in the common space.
Perfect. Right. Things going well then?
Yes, she's picking up very well on the silent letters, or what we're working on now.
Those were difficult for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Superfluous. But no, she's doing quite well. How are you?
Still trying to find answers, I'm afraid. How are you?
I got a few answers, and I'm not sure I would recommend it. I'm all right. I'm fine.
Fine. Go sit down. I'll make some tea. I'll
Thank you.
go make some tea. And come back with 2 cups, sit next to you. I don't suppose you want to share what you've learned.
I think we all just have our own secrets. And I am glad that Briar is on our side. I will say that. I'm not sure that her secret is mine to share, but I would be very nice to her and her cat if I were you. Not that you wouldn't be, just for the...
Sure. I will be particularly kind to Briar and her cat.
Mm-hmm. Charlie, I've thought a lot about our history together and our relationship as you and I stand. And as I've mentioned before, I can't find the right words at any given moment. I was wondering if I could show you instead.
Sure. How far into this break downtime has this been?
I would say this is 2 weeks in.
Okay, so we've been spending quite a bit of time together. I don't imagine I go back home a whole lot. Okay. Sure.
And he will use encode thoughts, which creates ribbons, like light ribbons of memory. They are physical. And it is a cantrip, so he does take about a minute to construct almost this woven band, really, of these memories. And he just places it on the table and says, these are thus as the best way for me to express to you how I feel about you. You are not obligated in any way, but I would regret it for the rest of my life if I didn't attempt to share this with you. You can tie it around your wrist, and it will last for 8 hours. And at the end of moments, really, after putting it on, you will know how I feel.
All right. I will go to tie the ribbon around my wrist.
And as you do, it's kind of a series of memories. Memories, as we think about them, don't play out in the same time frame as they actually do in the real world. A memory that encompasses an entire hour might only take seconds to remember the full things. And you only remember pieces. You remember the emotions, and you remember the things that really stick out. And memory is flawed in its own right. But you are able to see from Tyrion's eyes the first moment that he saw Charlie. And you see the deflection of trash. And that shifts to the first time that Charlie came into the library. And it plays in rapid succession of every time Charlie came to the library. And in each successive time, you feel how Tyrion's personal feelings grow. And then you feel your stomach absolutely drop as you see the moment that Charlie walks into the rebellion. And a cold shiver goes down your spine as you realize that this person that you care so much about has just put themselves on the front lines. And despite you, Tyrion, wanting Charlie to at least agree with the rebellion, doing so from a safe distance was your intention. But then you see the moments of Charlie in battle, and you see the moments of Charlie's compassion and her deference to being a healer. And then you get to this moment where Tyrion has never been able to find words, but he loves Charlie with literally all of his being. It is who he is. And for the first time, you are able to see yourself through his eyes, and you are beautiful.
So I think as the memories kind of taper away, I'm getting emotional. I'm going to look over to you, kind of teary-eyed. Is that really how you see me?
I literally couldn't lie if I wanted to. Not to you. I love you.
I'm going to take a moment and just kind of stare at the ribbon run a finger along it. It's funny. Apparently you're not the only one who struggles with words from time to time. So maybe I just won't use words. And I'll lean forward and I'll give you a kiss. And it's slow, it's sweet. I can't promise forever. But
For as long as we have.
there's no one I'd rather face hell with.
As Charlie pulls back, there's an additional kind of source of light in the room. And as you pull back, Tyrion has sprouted wings.
Beautiful, corporeal, brilliant white and gold wings flutter gently behind him. And you see just above his head is a light, a gentle light, like a halo.
That's new.
In fact, all of Tyrion is aglow, as if he's made of sunlight for only a moment. Each strand of his silver hair shimmers. His eyes sparkle. It's as if something inside of him has been awoken. And you feel a warmth on your chest.
This actually makes sense.
I'm piecing a few things together as well.
I'll lean forward and give you another kiss.
Players, do we need a quick bio break before we keep going?
I would not mind a bio break.
Okay.
But I think I can be okay.
I need a
Okay, perfect. Then I will definitely take a bio break.
All right, we will. We're gonna take a quick bio break since we took our first break early, and we will be right back.
Oh, baby, I love your madness. It's so incredibly beautiful. Oh, you shine like gold, so selfless to all, and wild like an animal. Some would say I'm insane in the right and pandemonium. Life is so easy. Whoa, you left me to pieces. Yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium. The limit of love is endless. I know. Just do what you want with me. Yeah, I want it all. Could care less the cost. I give you my everything. Some would say I'm insane in the right and away, but I just love to play in your fun and your games. Always hungry for more, that's just how I was born. Take me somewhere I don't know and give me your freedom. Whoa, you love me to pieces.
Welcome back. We return from our quick bio break to you, Charlie. What have you been doing for this month of downtime?
Well, spending some time with Tyrion. So there are two main things that I would have wanted to do. One is I am still trying to find a way to get the Delaney family out. That does not require a sacrifice of any other sentient being.
Sure.
I don't exactly. I mean, yeah. So that's priority, probably number one. I only have two real things that I'm doing. That's still on the list.
And priority number two?
I am trying to see if I can get more details of whatever involvement my family, my parents had. I don't exactly know. I mean, asking around is, some people might know some things. I'm sure there are rumors of other families getting involved and what their involvement might have looked like. But I am also very aware that I have at least one fiend who might have more details, but that's probably not a last resort. But
actually, speaking of that fiend.
Oh, great.
You are walking back to Tyrion's one day when you catch sight of him in an alley, sort of waiting. He is not hiding from you. He is more like waiting for you to notice him.
I will approach.
You see he looks... Make a perception check.
Oh. I'm going to use an advantage.
Okay.
Ew. Okay, well, it's not a natural one, so that's better, I guess. It is 16.
That's still really good. He looks haggard. He looks like he has been through a fight.
Oh.
But he, from his sort of leather coat thing, jacket, procures for you an envelope. A smallish envelope.
Does he look like actively hurt?
Yeah.
Okay.
He looks like he might have come straight here.
When I reach for the envelope, I will purposely make sure that my hand touches his and I'll cast Cure Wounds.
Okay, you cast Cure Wounds, and what's the max healing from that?
Oh, no? How hurt he be looking?
No, what's the max healing? Oh, pretty hurt. Like bloodied.
So max healing would be... Hold on, because I'm a healer, so I get extra bonusy things.
Mm-hmm.
Plus the spell level, so 34. Max. If I rolled max.
You watch as that warmth in your chest returns as you cast Cure Wounds on this creature, and he regains the max healing possible. You watch Nakir close his eyes, and for the first time, you see the ghost of a smile pass his lips.
I'll take the envelope.
You open it up, and its handwriting is familiar. It's from Olympia.
Is it addressed to me?
It is.
I don't know if I can read this right now in front of Nakir, so I will fold it and tuck it away. Thank you. I don't suppose in procuring this you discovered a different way to get her or the others out.
He looks ashamed.
I'm guessing I also have not found any other ways to get them out.
No.
Well, I haven't had much success myself, so...
My offer is still on the table.
No.
I am but a lowly fiend. Why does my life matter any more than theirs?
It doesn't. But it certainly has no less value. A life for a life is still a life. There has to be another way in. There has to be a way to, if nothing else, delay. We have plans, but if we can't get in now, maybe there's a way to stall them. At least give us a chance.
Did you have a falling out with your family?
What do you know of my family?
Roll persuasion with advantage.
Where's my D20? Oy vey. 13. Yeah, I think I'm...
If you answer my question, I will answer yours.
I suppose you could call it a falling out. But I'm not entirely sure how much my mother remembers, or if it was my mother at all.
Is that why you stay where you are staying?
One reason.
You have eyes on you.
What kind of eyes? And from whom?
Your family are a part of a larger coalition of nobles who have given resources to the incursion. It started with the Delaney's.
Wait, what do you mean?
The Delaney's are the most fervent supporters of the Devils. I'm sorry, not Delaney's. Declares.
Oh my god, I was
I'm
like,
so sorry.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Okay.
The Declare
Okay.
family. Which makes sense, they are rivals after all.
I had heard rumors.
Your mother specifically asked for the protection of two souls. Yours
Mine.
and Asha Bailey.
It's going to be quite a disappointment for Mother. Though, I'm starting to think that most of the things that I'm currently doing would be a disappointment, so... Huh. I suppose he would have disappointed her too.
There has been some shifting as well within the ranks. Within our ranks.
Who is our at this point in time?
The Devils.
I don't suppose you're going to elaborate. Or can. My father certainly couldn't give me any answers.
I can tell you anything. I just do not know how much will put you in danger, and that's not a risk I'm willing to run.
There is no world without risks anymore.
No, there's not. The angel you are staying with.
Yes.
That's a good idea. He can protect you. What? Did you think I was going to say otherwise?
No. I'm still not entirely sure why there are eyes on me. If my family did, in fact, make a deal, provide resources.
These deals are contingent on a certain level of cooperation.
Whose cooperation?
Yours.
Oh, well, I'm sure I've been quite the disappointment to everyone then.
Not to me. The god whose gem you wear would have loved you. And everything you stand for. I am the disappointment, believe me.
How so?
I've made mistakes. I made a grave mistake.
You say that.
Go ahead.
So you say that as though everyone else is without.
My mistake cost my creator, my father, if you will, his life. And the best part was it was erased from my memory for some time. That is until that gem found its owner.
Well, this is not a conversation we have not touched on before, but I don't exactly know what regrets you have. And the burden of that weight you're carrying, but until you forgive yourself, you're going to continue to carry it.
Yes.
You don't need to, though. You know that, right?
I certainly do not. Charlie, I'm sorry, I should leave you alone. I feel as though my presence only puts you in more danger.
Well, from what you said, a little bit more danger.
I would warn you, though, that though I have taken care of as many spies on you as I can find, there is talk about you and your friend. Not to mention, the paladin has caused some trouble as well. What I'm trying to tell you is that you are in danger. And I will do everything I can to protect you. But I have my limits, too.
I appreciate your efforts to intervene, whatever they may look like, and I appreciate the warning. I don't suppose you have any advice. I'm not sure if all the pieces keep moving.
Yes.
It's difficult to keep up. I feel like the rules change.
I know from personal experience that the more you care about someone, the more they will be used to hurt you. I would never steer you away from happiness. However,
You think I should put space?
no. I think you should consider. I think you should be aware of the dangers. As I said, I would never steer you away from happiness, wherever you find it.
Well, I'll be far happier if I can keep the people I care about safe.
I can only protect so many of you. May I hold the gem one more time? I have something to show you.
I will take a quick cursory glance around to make sure no other fiends are around, but I will pull out the gem when I assume there's nobody I see. I will take it off from around my neck. I will wrap it around my wrist and kind of extend my hand towards him.
He will take it in the palm of his hand and wrap yours within. And you discover a flash of images. The first is of a great battle between celestials, in which one side is a clear victor. All of these beings are beautiful beyond measure, and there is great loss as the battle comes to an end. You watch a piece of heaven break off and descend into flames. The sky darkens and it rains for years and years and years, and that rain seeps into the ground. You watch as each drop forms its own way, and there's a cave where it all coalesces into a single gem, which is later dug up by a brilliant young man you would recognize as Charles Montcroy. Your uncle, whom you were named after. And on the day you were born, the gem lights up, glowing brighter and brighter as they bring it closer and closer to you. And that gem never leaves your side again. Your vision comes back up as you watch these angels who fought on the winning side all begin to shift and morph. And your vision closes in on one. One in particular, a masculine form. You watch as his wings are stripped bare to the bone and he begins to fall from the sky into this pit of the hells. And when he rises from the ashes, from the lava burning, you see in front of you, once again, Nakir, but you get a flash of a truer form, a darker form, covered in burns, gaunt. You see the three forms of Nakir, the angelic, perfect, sharp-angled, beautiful winged man, the burned, marred, stripped version of him, and then somewhere in between where he is now. You see that there has been, since that day, he has been changing from that final form that he was stripped into what you see now. I have you to thank for my memories, for the knowledge of what I truly am, the knowledge of what I did. For this I will repay you one day.
There's no need to repay anything. I am grateful that you have had your memories return to you. That you might see yourself a bit more clearly, but you get to decide who you are every day.
That is very easy for you to say.
Is it not true?
He takes your hand, and if you will let him, places a kiss on the top knuckle and lets it go.
Your creator. Your father. Is there a way to bring him back?
No. There is not. But he lives on. In you. In all humans.
The divine exists in all of us.
You would say that. He will walk away. He will begin to walk away.
Thank you. For the letter. And for the insight.
He'll look back at you and give you a nod and then fly off.
Will.
Would you like to read your letter?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you like to read it here or?
Yeah, I know I'm hyper aware that there might be like people watching me now.
Sure, yeah.
I'm also a little leery of like, I don't know. I don't want Tyrion to get sucked into stuff, but I think, but we're already all kind of sucked into stuff at this point. I will head back to Tyrion's place. At least I'm keeping a much closer eye on my surroundings than maybe I was before.
Yeah. You can get back and... Would you like me to read the letter to you? Let me just change it really quick. Charlotte. Your friend tells me you are planning something dangerous. I want you to know that were I given the option to leave my family, to leave this castle and to leave this city forever, I would say no. This is where I am supposed to be. Charlotte, rest assured that if I die, it will have been for a cause that I believe in. For a family who will endure. I do not wish to die. I wish to see your face one more time. Yet I will. Surely. Never forget how much I love you. Now and forever. My truest friend. My very first love. The one who holds my heart. Do not be foolish, love. You cannot save me. And I do not wish to be saved. They will never get what it is they want from us. Ever. The Delaney family is together for the most part, and we will die together. I have already said goodbye to my parents, to my 3 oldest siblings, and you know that I will be next soon. I ask that when you hear those 3 bells, that you close your eyes and you think about that night at the cottage, just me and you. That you think about your hand in mine. That you think about how we laughed until we cried. That you remember me fondly. You forget my flaws, my fatal flaws. And you forget my stubbornness. That you forget that I never told my family. And that one day you find another love, and maybe another after, and another after. Azmarin will endure. The Delaney family will endure. You will endure. Have courage in this time. Protect those you love. And forgive yourself for what you are unable to do for me. Most of all, move on. Move forward. Find peace. Know that I have found mine. Always. Olympia Delaney.
I will read the letter a few times over. And I imagine at some point Tyrion will find me. Because I imagine I went up to the room that I'm staying in. And I imagine eventually Tyrion will just find me and I'm just weeping.
I made tea. Are you all right? Oh, Charlie, no, come here. No, it's all right.
No, I was kind of.
Okay, hey, we don't have to talk about it, but I'm here.
I'm just gonna cry. The letter's still in my hand.
I was about to say, you could probably catch a glimpse at who it's from. Tyrion.
That might be, if he sees who it's from, that he won't look at it anymore.
Yeah. Another.
Here.
Go ahead.
No, that was it.
Charlie, Tyrion, Briar, Another 2 weeks passes. And you each get a letter saying that there have been complications that have arisen and it'll take another 2 weeks. And then on the next day, you hear the tolling of 3 bells. And that is where we are going to end today's session. Yay! D&D is fun! All right, friends. Next week, we will start with some of the fallout of Jude's choices.
So we are playing next week.
Oh, what's next week?
Halloween, isn't it?
Oh. Well, we'll talk about it if we can play.
Okay.
Figure it out.
I'm good. I just wanted to double check.
Oh, I forgot it's Halloween. Oh, we can dress up!
I have a Charlie-esque wig.
Yeah, you do.
It's a little messier than Charlie's hair at this point is probably a little.
Your hair, darling.
Yeah. Sorry, Mom.
I have my dad card.
Should have made a deal with the devils, then it would be fine. Might be.
We will head to the consequences of Jude's decisions and the beginnings of attempt to smuggle in Lord Theo Delaney.
It's gonna be fine.
It'll be fine. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and sign off.
Hey, I'm Mindy. Whew. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Miss Mindykins. I stream games and stuff Sunday nights and Wednesday nights, and I will do a special Halloween stream next Saturday night, not during the day, because we got to play D&D first. It's gonna be nice and spooky. You can also find me here Monday nights playing on Fates Chosen at 6:30 Central Time. My favorite part of the session was, I don't even know, y'all. I really enjoyed the Briar Tarian conversation, especially when trying to like translate essentially. And I also really enjoyed Briar's attempt to say the big fancy word that Tyrion used.
I need that clip so bad.
It is clipped. Eva clipped it.
Oh, Eva!
I have the link pulled up so that I wouldn't have to go search for it in chat. So I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know what else yeah.
That's it?
Okay.
Derek.
Hi, everybody. I'm Derek Sword. If you want to find me on social media, the best place is Twitter, dsword16. You can find most of my projects there, which include some of the following. Most Fridays, you can find me on Graham Cracker's channel, where I play in the Goldshine Investigation Agency as a swampy bugbear druid. It's funnier. It's more lighthearted than this game, so it is whiplash every Saturday morning, and I love it. We are not playing next week, so next Friday, you can find me on the Stalwart Initiative, where I will be playing in the Cypher system, like Halloween game, which we will be playing as teenagers set in the mid-2000s. As someone who was a teenager in the mid-2000s, that will also be its own way of whiplash. That Friday evening, I will be playing on Merefeather's channel. We'll be playing an Eberron train murder mystery, which I'm very, very excited for. Saturday evenings, actually this Saturday evening is the finale of my Dark Matter campaign, Ventures in the Verse on the Stalwart Initiative. That's going to be 5:30 tonight Eastern Time on the Stalwart Initiative, and every other Tuesday I'm on Uncanny Adventures for Call of Cthulhu Shadows Over Stillwater. And then I also am the co-host of the podcast Monster Crush, where we talk about different monsters and spookums and whether they'd be good to smooch. We should have an episode coming out today, which is about good boys. So if you like werewolves and hellhounds, check that out wherever podcasts are found.
Chris.
Hello everybody. I'm Chris, and I really like to hang out. This is where you can find me most regularly Saturday mornings. Also doing a super cool podcast that comes out every other Monday, I believe, called Rolls as Written. Also in a biweekly masks campaign on the Off the Table network. But honestly, like, we should just hang out in the Open for Adventure Discord, because that's where you can find me the most. My favorite part was the kiss. Hello, like we're gonna just pretend like we're glossing over it, like that wasn't the actual highlight of this whole session. That's fine. I'll call it out. I'll say it. I'll be the one. So, yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you,
I'm
Chris.
sorry, I always forget my favorite moment. My favorite moment is all of Camille today. Camille, you facilitated so many reveals and played so many amazing characters. You're amazing. Yeah.
Thank you, Derek.
Too many feels I didn't like it.
Hi, I'm Camille. You can find me on Twitter at CamilleDoesD&D. You can also find the channel on Twitter up in the number 4 adventure. If you like what we're doing here, give us a follow there, give us a follow here, subscribe if you're able to. Ordinarily, we would have CB do our callouts with us, or no callouts, also callouts, but he's got a lot of stuff going on. Go check out his Twitter. It's great. My favorite part of the session is, oh my god, getting to watch the kiss happen with, I feel like Chris and I were just over here like observing the whole time. We got to have our reacts and stuff. That was so great. I think, yeah, everything that Tyrion did tonight. Right back, you know what? To play this game, Derek. We are going to go do our callouts, which is a decompression. If you want to know more about callouts, just message, come chat in our Discord and we will tell you what callouts are all about. It's structured decompression where we go and talk about the things that we loved about the session and share any vulnerabilities that we're having. What else? Yeah, I think that's going to be it. I'm just not ready to sign off because that means the session's over, which is very sad. Warm fuzzies, Mindy, would you take care of them?
Yeah, we have Belchavas!
Belchavas.
And we have Seb!
Seb.
And PJ!
BJ! Christina!
Oh.
I heard,
When you yell, it just cuts you off.
Andrew Fellowship of the Tables, Bay of Gifts, Wiki Banter!
Bay of Gifts!
Bay of Gifts.
Rico!
Gamer Lives!
Gamer Lives with
And
a 1
Gamer
and 3!
Lives.
And
Deborah! Okay, sweet friend, we'll talk to you later. Okay, we'll see you same time, same place next week. Bye!
I hope